Hey guys, and welcome back once again to I Like Watches. Venezianico are about to launch another gorgeous dive watch. I'm sure you're familiar with this brand by now. They tend to produce just beautifully made, very pretty watches. Their use of materials is almost unrivaled. And as a result, you get some really quite striking watches from this brand. And this next one is no exception. The dial has been given the 24 karat gold treatment. Prior to the gold being added, the dial goes through a tumbling process to get this sort of textured, almost galvanized look to it. You know, that sort of galvanized, almost crystallized look that you see on, well, metals outside that have been treated to make them water resistant. Well, this dial has a similar sort of look, but it's done really for its look. And then once that tumbling process has been finished, the watches are put through a process whereby 24 karat gold is essentially infused onto the dial. It's a plating process. And those two processes combined result in a dial that looks like this. It's not bright, it's not super reflective. That's the job of the tungsten bezel insert. But it is gorgeous, and this is a watch that's paying tribute to Venetian gold beaters. And if you want to know more, I suggest you head over to their website, because they've put some details on their website about the process, etc., a video and all that sort of stuff. I'm now going to spend the rest of the video showing you this lovely watch in lots of detail and running through the specifications. So if you're interested in this watch, you'll know exactly what you're gonna get. And let's start with the packaging. Very nice, very simple, good quality packaging. I actually filmed an unboxing video for this watch and posted that on my second channel, I Like Watches too. I'll put a link in the video description. Now, once you've unboxed the watch, you will be presented with a beautiful 200-meter diver. This is a dive watch, but of course it's very pretty, it's very reflective. There's a real mix of brushing and polishing all over this watch, very reflective in places like that tungsten bezel insert, which I love. It's one of the reasons why I love these divers. It's like a mirror, but it's sort of silvery, and with it being tungsten, super resistant to scratches. Sapphire crystal as well while I'm on the materials, 316L stainless steel, 200 meters of water resistance. I'll put the dimensions and a few other specifications on the screen for you. Sellita SW200 inside of this watch, so a decent automatic movement as well. And the bracelet on this particular version of this dive watch is different to the bracelet that they would normally supply with their other versions of this dive watch. It's the first time I've seen this bracelet. Unfortunately, this is a very early production model, and they've actually decided to make a change to the end links. They're not happy with how they end in terms of where they end in relation to the lugs. They're going to have new end links made which basically match the ends of the lugs better. And I'm not surprised, to be honest, because they do seem to be very intent on producing, you know, perfect watches. But yes, this is the first time I've seen this 5-link bracelet. 2 polished links, 3 brushed links, taper. It's very nice. Their finishing is always super clean, super crisp. The transitions on the case between the polishing and the brushing, really nice and crisp. The bezel is a 120 click unidirectional bezel, obviously super reflective bezel insert on this watch. But then the outer rim of the bezel, well, that top surface is polished, around the edge is brushed, so you've even got a mix of finishing on the actual bezel. You've got a mix of finishing on the case back as well. It's not a screw down case back, actually, it's screwed down with screws. Of course, the crown is a screw down crown, 2 positions on the crown. First one is to adjust the date complication at the 3 o'clock. The second one adjusts the hands. Date complication at the 3, white background with black text. It's quite small, it's sort of discreet. I don't know, with this dial, might have been nice to have seen it with a no date movement. Such a gorgeous dial, isn't it? But yeah, I don't think it detracts too much. I just think when you're producing watches like this, maybe do without the date. But that's a fairly minor thing, and a personal thing, of course. There'll be people out there wanting the date complication on this watch. The bracelet and clasp construction is good. Solid end links, solid links. Split pins, I think I'd have liked to have seen screw pins. The clasp has milled inner elements. You've got a few micro adjustment options there on the outer shell. There's a mix of finishing again on the outer shell of the clasp. Double pushers, no safety latch, but it works, doesn't it? It suits the watch very, very nicely. Very nice proportions, good looking watch, obviously. All of their models in this particular range look really, really good. This one, of course, is going to stand out because of the dial, but the overall case, dimensions, bracelet, all the proportions look really, really good. I think there's only one proportion that I might call into question, and that is the hands. You've got this sort of gold chapter ring, which the indices are housed. You've also got the sort of minute track around the outside of the dial. That extends the size of the dial, doesn't it? But the hands, well, the minute hand doesn't quite reach that chapter ring. The hour hand doesn't quite reach the indexes. The seconds hand looks okay. But yes, when you're looking at the dial as a whole, including that chapter ring, I think the hands just look a touch undersized, but that is about it in terms of how it looks and the proportions, I think. The hands are still beautifully finished though, as are the applied indices, and of course it is a dive watch, so there is some lume. I'll show you the lume degrading at the end of the video. Yeah, I like the indices very, very much. Double index at the 12, singles everywhere else apart from the 3 o'clock, of course. Lots of shine. It is a typical Venezianico, isn't it? Very ornate, beautiful, reflective, dressy. Yeah, I think it's what we've come to expect from this Venetian micro brand. Very, very nice and unusual for sure. Now, this watch is going to launch on the 26th of July. The launch price, the pre-order price, is just over 1,000 euros, which is what I would expect from this brand, given the movement, given the materials, given the build quality, and the exclusivity to some degree. There's only 500 of these watches being made. After the pre-order phase, it's going to go up to around 1,300 euros, which is, yeah, a bit of a jump, isn't it? So if you are interested in this watch, get in there during the pre-order phase. And if you do, I don't think you'll be disappointed at all. Right, guys, you've seen the watch, you know the specifications. It's now time for you guys to tell me what you think of the watch and the review. And as always, thanks for watching, guys. I do appreciate it.